Okay, welcome to Red Flags with Natalie Norman. I'm your host, Natalie Norman. I'm very bad at intros. I will never be comfortable. Hopefully, I sound normal throughout the episode. Okay, if you haven't listened to this podcast yet, what this podcast is about is I am terrible at dating. Awful. I don't notice people's red flags. And even sometimes when I do, I'm like, let's do it. Anyways, so to become better at dating and maybe to help you as well, I've decided to invite my friends to ask them what their red flags are in dating, and maybe we can learn something together. Yeah, that's the intro I do want to do. My guest today is a dear friend, one of my best friends, a Taurus. She's done Just for Laughs. She's on E Network's Dating No Filter. She loves 90 Day Fiance. True lunatic. Please welcome Cara Connors.
Hi, Natalie.
Hi, did you like that intro?
That was beautiful.
Is it beautiful?
Yeah, it was. No red flags.
Well, Cara, before we get into the red flags, I think it's important to share with everyone a little bit about your dating history because you have such a unique one. Can I say some stuff and then you'll tell me what you want to tell everyone about?
Yeah, you can say whatever you want.
Okay, so Cara, my dear friend, when I met her, was married to a man. I laugh because if you met Cara, no matter what point in her life, I think you would have been like, this is wrong. This is a hate crime against heterosexuality and homophobic at the same time. So tell us a little bit about that. And then and then she got divorced. And then she came out as bi, and then I think now you identify as a lesbian. And we're laughing because when you said you're bi, I was like, I don't believe you. And I believe bi people exist. I just don't think you're one.
Yeah.
As well as you went through a Rumspringer, so you have a lot of experience dating. So tell everyone about those quickly.
Okay, so your summary was accurate, except you left out a few details, which is that I was married to a man when I met you, and then we got divorced, and then I immediately entered a long-term serious relationship with a woman that you set me up with.
I don't know why that's the problem. I mean, I was doing God's work. You know what I mean?
No, you were, but I'm just saying that was an important detail. And then after we broke up, I proceeded to date every woman in Los Angeles.
You have literally dated every woman in LA.
I have dated a lot of women, yeah. And also somehow was dating people in Toronto when I lived here too.
Yes, that's the thing is like Cara lives in Toronto now. In LA now. She used to live in Toronto. And my favorite thing about Cara is she would come in for like a week or two and somehow she was seeing like 6 or 7 other women. I really didn't understand. I've become friends with all these women. Yeah. They're lovely people.
They are lovely.
What'd you say?
Said they are lovely. I was the shithead.
Yeah, you were a full fuck boy. I said that really weird. You're a bro. You were like a fuck bro.
For a period.
I'm not saying now. And I do think even though you were a fuck boy, you were very open and like you're very communicative because that's who Cara is. Why are you laughing at that?
It's nice, Natalie.
Okay. So now you know a lot about Cara. She's definitely done her fair share of dating. She's done her fair share of looking for love. Mm-hmm. So Cara, what is your first maybe red flag?
Okay, I literally went and made a list of like 1,000.
I mean 1,000. There's other people have to be on this podcast. It can't just be every red flag Cara's ever seen. This isn't Cara's list red flags.
Okay, I'm gonna start with a red flag is somebody that you're dating having framed love poetry that an ex wrote them still hanging in their room and home.
Okay, this is a very specific one. I'm glad you went with the most specific. I don't know if anyone else has ever seen that. I think I know which person this is. And that's truly psychotic in the first place. I think the red flag here seems to be hanging poetry in your house, whoever it's from.
No, it's not. It's specifically from an ex. Like, you still have like little like love tokens of a last relationship displayed prominently. If you want to have a private box of trash from exes, I know I have one. I have many photo strips and I have little things that I've saved, like a little raccoon. But like with time, you sort of get rid of those things. But you still have a framed poem that someone else wrote you in your room talking about how beautiful. That's psycho.
It's psycho. So like, what is this person? Is this person like still emotionally attached to that person? Are they not over it?
Right.
What it like? Explain more of this red flag.
Or are they just like very narcissistic? That's how I took it, is like, you want me to, like, I'm reading this poem about like, oh, you're such a beautiful goddess and all this shit. It's like, what the, then be with them.
Yeah. Well, first of all, it sounds like a terrible poem. It sounds like a really elementary, basic haiku, maybe.
I mean, yeah, I'm offended as someone who only started writing poetry when I started dating women because I had so many feelings.
Did you actually? That's a red flag, Cara. That is a huge red flag. No one should start writing poems because they date women, but
I had a lot of feelings.
yes, so do I. Both. That's why we're friends. We both have a lot of feelings.
Right. But I needed a way to express it.
I mean,
I'm not the. This is not about my red flag. This is about what I saw.
have you ever seen it more than once?
No, I haven't seen like that kind of attachment to an ex, like a poem, but I have been with a lot of people who are like still married to a man or like just getting out of a thing with a man and like still have a lot of like their shit around.
I love it. Like, they've still dealt with a man. So we seem to think the problem's also men, but we'll get into that with someone else. You do tend to date a lot of women who were married or dated men and now just date women. Do you think it's just a general fed up bullshit with the men? And I'm making a joke. Obviously, like, sexuality is fluid, blah, 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 blah. We know this, but it's just, that seems to be your type.
That's a pattern. That's definitely a pattern.
Maybe because you can relate to them.
Right. I think that's it for sure. But yeah, just having like ex's stuff still around. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, if you're going to enter something new, maybe get rid of your exes. Like, I agree. You can keep what you want to keep. It doesn't need to be on fucking display.
Mm-hmm.
Especially a poem.
It's embarrassing.
The way you said that, it was just like so simple. It's embarrassing. I just like, I've never had someone write me a poem. I've definitely had someone write me a song. Yes, it was a lot. I prefer not to have songs written about me at this point. Okay, so Cara, that's one red flag.
Oh.
I was gonna say, I had someone write me a song and then they denied writing me the song when they showed up to this is a red flag that you didn't ask for. This person I dated wrote me a song. We stopped seeing each other. Months later, came to my stand-up show, brought a first date to my stand-up show. I called it out on stage and then after went up to her and I was like, oh yeah, we used to date, haha. She's like, we never dated. I was like, bitch, you wrote me 3 songs.
3?
Yes! I can't. And you know...
And I know them? And what were you gonna say? I can't, you're laughing too hard.
No, you don't know them. But I'm just saying, like, to deny that to my face, like, in front of, it's like, okay.
Oh, well, that's absolutely psychotic. Like, at least admit that you're crazy. Like, listen, we're not all saying him, that's fine, but like, at least admit your fucking quirks.
Right.
Yeah, I guess is that your second red flag?
No.
Right? No? Okay, that's just an aside. That's just a lovely aside. Okay,
Yeah.
so what is your second red flag?
Okay, once again, my second red flag is going to be pretty specific.
Okay. So everyone, these are very specific. They are Cara-based red flags, but you know what? I highly doubt we're the only ones who've experienced this.
No, I don't think I am. Okay, I will say, people who you make them a Spotify playlist and they don't even say thank you for 2 weeks after, and you have to bring it up.
Okay, Cara, that doesn't seem like a red flag. That just seems like something that happened to you and you're upset about. I mean, I don't know how many people are making Spotify playlists for people and the other person aren't thanking them.
Okay, fine. People who don't like your Instagram posts that you're dating.
Okay, this is one.
You know this is one for me.
What?
You know this is one that gets me upset.
Well, yeah, because this relates to your language of love, I think.
Yes.
So what language of love would that be? Acts of service or words of affirmation?
Acts of service. Shut the fuck.
Wait, no, hold on, I gotta stop. If you don't know what languages of love, it's a fun test you could take. Basically, the idea is that there's five ways we express our love. And the five ways are acts of service, words of affirmation, one-on-one time, gifts, and then
Physical touch.
what?
Physical touch.
Physical touch. So there's five ways. So Cara, it's really important. And I agree. I think acts of loves is a very important thing to see because I think it's really hard for relationships to succeed if they're vastly different or you're not aware of the other person's. So Cara here. So if you have what are we putting this?
Okay, what love language would that be? I mean, maybe it's words of affirmation, I guess, but it's like, I don't know. I guess I'll tell you what about it bothers me and you can tell me what language it is. It bothers me. It's like, we're dating each other and you can't like my post. You can't, what do you do? You can't like my post? This is all I have. I'm a comedian. Like, I get it if you're not as into social media, but this is what we do. Like, you can't like my post? It's psycho.
Maybe it's not a language of love, but maybe it's just like a general support for your partner.
Yeah, like what else are, and it's not like the people who are like, oh, I'm not on social media. Like, they're on it. And they're not like.
You are right. They are on it because I've had men be like, I went and looked at your Instagram and I'm like, oh, cool. That's fine. Do you want to follow me? And they're like, I don't use it much. And I'm like, fine. You don't have to follow me. I'm not crazy about that.
Right.
But like, that's a different case. But if you are on it, you follow me at least once in a while, like a post.
You can't like a post. If we're together, as you know, as you and I know, if you or I don't like each other's post, you text me, I text you, we're like my post, bitch. What's wrong with you?
I assume that if you weren't liking something of mine, we were in a fight.
Yes. That's
Well, my camera moved. I got so into it. Now it's out of frame. Hold on. Okay, but like, we're not well, either of us.
No, but that's my point, is like, that I'm not asking for that much. Like, you can't throw me a like. You can't comment in the first couple minutes when the algorithm really needs that traction. Come on.
You know what I do? Yes, I think for us it's really important because it generates traction and awareness. And another level, like, it's not a big thing of mine if they don't like my stuff. But if, like, you're doing something casual once in a while, for me, it's not even, but if you're in a relationship, I don't need that confirmation personally. What I do need is when we're in something casual, like,
right.
We're not talking all the time. Maybe once in a while, I know you still exist.
Right.
Still interested. And it's a petty thing.
It's extremely petty, but it's a red flag because I think it speaks to, like, that's what these are about. It's like little things like, oh, that's kind of weird. What does that speak to in a larger way? So it's like, that's a small thing, but then it kind of speaks to, like, not noticing other big things, or like not being super attentive in other ways, or not being like that like, to me, it's like, do you like, why are we fucking, do you like me?
So, I mean, this definitely does also relate to attachment issues for sure.
Yes. And we're both working on ours, but I still think that's a fair red flag.
Okay, because as I'm listening to you, I'm like, I have entered, if you don't know attachment issues, once again, we have multiple ways we attach to people. If you had in your childhood, if you had maybe neglectful parents, you might be avoidant, you might be anxious. It's a way we like self-soothe. Am I explaining this correctly, Cara?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, I'm just doing the basics of it. Anyways, you ideally want to be securely attached to people. And am I listening to you right now? And I am honoring your red flag. I don't know if this one necessarily applies to me. However, I do understand why that's frustrating and like problematic. I just tend to date a lot of men, and maybe that's the problem, that aren't, I mean, they're not into social media necessarily.
Right. Which is arguably another red flag. Like, not being into it is fine. Not being on it or a part of it is
Yeah,
weird.
there's a difference. There's a difference. Like they tend to be on it in some form, but I tend to date men that aren't really Instagram users. They're more like
Right.
Twitter heads.
Because you tend to like
Yeah,
incels.
intellectual beings.
Incel adjacent.
Wait, incel adjacent men. Yes. So they like they're probably big on message boards,
Right.
their plays. And I like that. That's something I like. I like a heady man, someone who's in their head. So that's not something that's going to ever change. I've given up on that changing that. Okay. Do you have any serious red flags? Because I know those are serious to you.
Like serious of like, okay, let me look. Serious like in terms, what do you mean by serious?
Something that's like really problematic, because I think that
Okay.
you can negate like,
Yeah.
you can mitigate them not liking your posts.
Okay, right. Yeah, that's true. I'm gonna say
Cara has no real red flags. Everyone's welcome.
no, I do. I have a lot. I'm looking at my list. Okay. I would say like love bombing stuff, like telling you that they love you like really early and like too soon, and it's kind of like jarring and doesn't really match like what's going on.
Will you explain the concept of love bombing for those of us who, I know what it is, but maybe
I don't know if my understanding of love bombing is just like it's a way to kind of, it could also be not to excuse abusive behavior, but it could be someone subconsciously doing this, but it's usually somebody kind of like pouring on affection and compliments and like way too big of romantic gestures, like way too early on, as a way to manipulate the person that they're with. Because like if I'm just like pouring all this affection and love onto you, then you are gonna like kind of be, people like aren't used to that amount of attention, so you might kind of behave in ways that like they haven't earned that yet, but you kind of get hooked in because it's just like this rush of attention.
I actually think this is like a very important one. I've never experienced someone love bombing me. I know a lot of people who have.
Yeah.
And the basic concept is they tell you they love you basically within like 3 days. And you're like, what the hell's happening? And it fosters this fake intimacy.
Right.
And it's like, it is very manipulative, because you're like, oh, is something happening? Why does this person love me? And it kind of like, you know, if you are an anxious attachment person, this is like a very big problem.
Right.
Because you become attached because you feel like you could trust someone because they said you love
Yeah.
them.
But they haven't necessarily like earned that. So then it can kind of turn into this form of gaslighting, because like, oh my God, they told me that they love me and they care about me so much and I'm so important to them, but like they're treating me in a way that doesn't really feel good, and like these things aren't really matching, but they love me. And so it can lead to this like gaslighting scenario. I think it's dangerous.
I mean, it's psychotic.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be mean, but it and rude, and like I know we have to be careful with our mental health words, but like this is I mean, I'd be like so confused if someone, like after knowing them for a short, even like a month.
Right.
Like, I mean, time doesn't really matter in a sense, but like there's no way you can love me so fast.
Right. I mean,
so yeah, how do we, so it's basically, is there any warning signs to someone that's going to be a love bomber?
I mean, I think it comes out kind of fast, like those kinds of like, I mean, I've experienced it in ways where like somebody has like really quickly told me that they love me, or really quickly, and like I don't know. That's happened to me a few times. And sometimes I think it can even,
happened to you a few times.
Yes. That someone has told me they love me like within weeks.
Do you
And
yeah.
I don't know what it is. Sometimes I think like it can even be like a thing of they think that they know you better than they do.
Right. I mean, I don't know the psychology about like really about love bombing. I'm sure both of us are going to go research this after.
Right.
I think we have our afternoon set out for ourselves.
Right.
Maybe it's more common in lesbian relationships, because like
yeah. I mean, it's only happened to me with women versus it did not ever happen to me when I dated men.
Yeah, I mean, I've never experienced it.
Right.
I've experienced a different form, and it's different where like people
Like what?
divulge information too fast, and I think
Oh, yes. Like they share all their like deepest shit with you and you're like
you're like
too
it's fucked up. It's fucked up, and like basically once that happens to you, because I think you get confused when someone loves bombs you, and I think that's the point of it. That I think you have to really sit down and then take some time from that person and figure out what's going on, because I think it's a really hard red flag to like mitigate.
Yes. The last time it happened to me, I like remember them saying it and then I was like, "What?" Like I was confused versus in the past I would like feel bad, but this time I was like, "Wait, what?" Like and I literally said like, "Where's this coming from? This feels really off."
Yeah, and that's really important to be self-aware of that, and like we're getting so serious, but like that mental health work comes into play here, where like I don't know, if that happened to me, I'd be like, I would have to call a friend, at least a friend, if not a therapist, and be like, I don't know what's going on. What
Yeah.
do I do? And the truth is, you probably have to leave that person,
Yeah.
which is sad, but like, because there probably is really good qualities. I mean, I don't like to
Right.
believe that people are inherently bad, but
Right. But you did ask me for a serious red flag.
and I appreciate it and I love it, and thank you for sharing. I honor you and I see you.
Get out of here.
I clearly spoke to my therapist this morning. We'll talk about that later, Cara, privately. Before this podcast ends, it's a short podcast. We like to play a game here that I invented. Um, I have been on all the apps: Yelp, LinkedIn, Bumble, Tinder, JSwipe, OkCupid. If you've ever been on any of the apps, you're going to come across some fucking weird profiles. The question is, can you tell if someone's a red flag without talking to them? Do you swipe yes to them? Did I swipe yes? So these are profiles that I've saved
Okay. Okay.
from over the years. I'm just explaining to the audience and you. So I'm going to pull up a profile. I'm going to read it to Cara. She's going to tell me if there's red flags in this man, what they are, and did I swipe yes to him? Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, I picked a very special one for you, Cara. Okay. Okay, I hope I didn't use this on someone else. This one is wonderful. This app is Tinder. This man is 33. He works at aviation. Okay, just giving you some background about him. On Tinder, you can put like your interests. He likes walking, writing, spirituality, outdoors, and travel.
Okay.
Now, this is his bio. Are you ready? So it's gonna bear with me. It's a long one.
Okay, good.
Okay. We should take care of each other. Girls, you may be beautiful on the outside. You will have your admirers, mainly for your body, and afterwards you will feel hollow. I want us to connect spiritually and as friends. And if we're really connected, only then should we make love. I say you avoid the players and I avoid the hustlers. And maybe we can meet one day, regardless of height, ethnicity, or other BS societal obstacles. I want to win your heart, not your mind. It may take some time, but I believe in you. Winky face. And that's it.
Okay. Well, I hated everything that was written. The opening line of "we should take care of each other" is scary based on everything else that he wrote. I didn't like it. It felt manipulative. It felt like, frankly, something that a closeted, sensitive, open mic comedian would have written.
So an incel. An incel.
Yes. It was weird. Why are you talking about how we're gonna make? I don't like the use of "make love" in this context. I really don't like this like weird, like this guy thinks he's like Sufjan Stevens, like he's just like,
Stop. I listened to Sufjan Stevens today.
so do I, but like we should take off our bear's clothing and bare each other's souls. Like it's just, he's full of shit. They're full of shit.
Well, like for me, so you think this guy is just one giant red flag, I assume.
Yes.
I think what was a lot of this profile was like to say that if I have sex with someone, I'm gonna feel hollow afterwards. And let me tell you, I feel pretty full of cum. Okay. I feel pretty full of cum.
Yeah, don't tell me how I'm gonna feel.
Yeah, like that's truly, I don't, okay, so the question is, did I swipe yes to him?
I feel like you I feel like you either blocked him or went on 2 to 3 dates with him. Which one is
You
it?
have to pick one.
I think you talked to him because I think you were like, this guy is weird and I'm gonna fuck with him, and maybe he was like really hot and you just were curious like what a weirdo this guy was.
Well, you really know me almost. So I did definitely swipe yes to him. I definitely talked to him. His pictures were hot, like very hot. However, I think when I was talking to him, I realized something was strange and I must have not read the full profile. I must have just like swiped on him because he was hot. And then I went back and I was like, this is a lot. This guy's crazy and we're not looking for each other.
Right.
So I didn't go on any dates with him because I know better at that point. Could you imagine? I think I would have been chopped up by now.
I'm glad that you didn't, but like I just feel like you are very curious about people and I feel like you could like potentially engage with someone like that from like a sociological perspective.
It wasn't sociological though. That's the problem. Is I was like, he's hot.
That is problem. That's a psychological problem.
I'm not. No, but I stopped. I stopped because I realized
Okay,
the
good.
problem.
Okay, good. Still scary.
It is scary. Well, I read the profile and I think I swipe a lot of the time and like hot, hot, hot. And
Right.
if you match and they start talking to you, like you're like, okay, who is it?
Then you go read it, right?
And then I'm like, yikes, Taylor. Do you want me to read another?
Yes.
Okay. Everyone seems to love this part of the podcast. Okay, I do have another.
I hate it.
Okay.
I hate hearing these men's words.
Wait, what?
I hate hearing these men's words.
You love it. Okay. Okay, here we go. This one's another long one. I'm laughing because, okay. He is 34 years old, a software developer at in the financial district for a bank. Okay. I'm just going to read it because it's long. Okay. So he starts with, couldn't find a fish to hold. Looks like every woman on Tinder wants a fish pic. Fish emojis. Okay. Then there's a list. Here we go. Pics are few months old, single, 5'7", taller with shoes, slender, honest and realistic. Some may not like it. Cheap, very cheap. Video gamer, biking, body weight workout, sometimes yoga, UFC.
Natalie.
I can't even read the rest. Get Joe Rogan podcast fan. Healthy foods most of the time. Don't drink and smoke. Vape cannabis. Atheist. Not balding. Introvert. Likes quietness. My English sucks. AMA.
All right.
Is your head hurting? This is a real, I feel like I have to always mention, these are real profiles. These aren't like jokes that I wrote myself. Like these are real people. I'm not including their names anymore because I was for a bit, but.
I think,
yeah.
I think that it's a gift that he wrote that, but that is so scary. Someone who writes, like, he's basically like, he listed what he believes are his attributes as a person. And he felt that he was being very honest, but like it was so superficial. He listed so many things about his height, his weight, what he likes to eat, how he takes care of his body. I feel like the 5'7" taller in shoes, like that was really weird. The cheap, really cheap thing. I don't know why you're highlighting that. You're like a software developer at a bank and you're cheap. Like that's honest, I guess, but like not a turn on. The Joe Rogan, the UFC, all of it. Yeah. Natalie, all of it. Come on. You swiped left on him.
Is left no?
You said no to him.
Yeah, I would definitely say no to this guy. For sure. This is one, like, I agree. When someone puts a list on their profile, that's a red flag.
I was scared it was going to be a list of all the things that he was looking for, but it was somehow worse. There's a list about himself.
Right. And a list like that where you're right, where it's like so vague in the sense that he thinks these are his attributes. It's like I think maybe lacks a little self-awareness.
Yeah, but it was all superficial, like not balding. Like it's like he thinks that he thinks he knows what women want
Right.
and care about, but if he did know anything that women want, he would have like that whole he'll do better to have an empty profile with no words.
He would. And he 100% would. I mean, I think like I don't know about other straight women, but like I've never been turned off by someone who's like bald.
Right.
Like who cares if you're like it's just
Right.
so, and it honestly makes me nervous that you're like that's an attribute that you're worried about. It's like,
Yes.
are you balding though? Like are you? Because like maybe
Right. But also like then he seems like the type of person who like goes on dates with people and has an Excel spreadsheet where he's just like big nose, weird breath, arm was that, like I feel like he has like a weird checklist in his head for you as the person you're dating.
I think what he said is like I'm really honest. So like I feel like that's someone that you go on a date and they're like, okay, like the way you eat food's really bad, and I'm gonna let you know that you either change that or we don't go out again.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know. It's wild out on these apps.
What was that on Tinder?
I think it was also Tinder. Give me a second. That was also Tinder.
You can't have a bio that long on Tinder. Come on.
You can't have a bio that long anywhere.
No, it's weird.
Even on OkCupid, on Hinge, all of them, the only way to really get to know someone is by like speaking to them.
Yeah, and that's usually where it goes downhill.
Yeah, really fast. Real fast. Okay, Cara, had a lot of fun with you. Did you have fun?
I had a lot of fun, Natalie. I love you.
Okay, don't just leave yet. Please tell everyone where they can follow you on Instagram and Tinder. I mean, sorry, Instagram or Twitter, all your socials. Give them your socials.
At Cara Connors Comedy.
Is that actually it?
Yeah.
Cara Connors Comedy. It's not Cara Connor Comedy?
No, because Connors is too long, so it's just Cara Connors Comedy.
Is that Instagram and?
That's everything, baby.
Everything. That's everything. Okay. So if you like this episode, go follow Cara. She's very funny. She does a lot of stuff online. She's also really loves attachment theory, which I really love too. What I wanted to say is, if you like this podcast, you can follow me at Stalking Natalie on everything. That's Twitter, Yelp, Instagram, all of it. You can slide into my DMs if you're interested in me and become really pathetic. Slide into those DMs. But more importantly, if you like this, share it with your friends, rate and subscribe me on that iTunes store, whatever it is, the Apple store. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you. And I hope this is helping. It's helping me. Love you lots.